Hey there, it's Red. It's time for another Red review. So exciting news, I checked my mailbox today and Thor. Yay! Some more Marvel Champions. I'm really happy I signed up for the Team Covenant subscription because they delivered and I have my new Thor deck, right? So I got my hero pack, there's the front, and there's the back. So the goal of this is going to be, we'll go through our Thor cards and take a look and see what we get in the pack. So if you don't want it spoiled until you get it, then turn this video off. Otherwise, we're going to take a look at Thor. So let's see what we got here. First off, we should start over on Odin's son, right? So here's our alter ego of Thor. 4 recoveries, pretty good. The ability to go get your hammer out is fantastic because the hammer's a really powerful card in this set. So let's see here. But that's the only thing he's really got going for him. So the thing that is kind of rough is you got a hand size of 5, but you do have 14 hit points. So it's a little bit less on the hand size than a lot of other characters out there, but a lot of hit points. And then we flip over to Thor, and Thor's got the have at thee, right? So he's only got 1 thwart, which is a little bit less than standard, but he's got 2 attack and 2 defense, which is normal. And then with the, after you engage a minion, draw 2 cards is going to make Ultron, I think, kind of interesting. So Thor's looking like a fun character. Hand size of 4, though. Ouch. That's pretty rough. So be a fun character to play and see how that works out. But you're going to have to do things to mitigate that low hand size. All right, let's take a look at what cards Thor has here. We've got Lady Sif, 2 thwart, 2 attack. She gets to ready Thor when he comes into play. And then we have Defender of the 9 Realms. So we're going to discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until you discard a minion. Then you engage him and remove 3 threat from a scheme. So it's an interesting way to do some thwarting. You're bringing the monsters out in order to thwart them. And it's a 0 cost card, so that's kind of cool. There are 3 of those in the deck. And you'll notice as we go through these cards, Thor seems to really thrive on fighting minions. All right, so for Asgard is an event. It's an alter ego, so you have to do that in Odin's son form. Search your deck and discard pile for a card with Asgard trait and add it to your hand. That's kind of cool. Hammer throw. So this looks like a beast of a card right here. So hero attack. You're going to exhaust the hammer and deal 8 damage to an enemy. And then the hammer goes back to your hand. And the attack gets overkill. That is super powerful. It's got a 3 cost. So your cost to damage ratio is really high there. And not only do you get 1 of those, you get 1, 2, 3 of those. So that's pretty powerful. Now, as we said, Thor's hand size is 4. So having a 3 cost is a little bit on the higher side for Thor. This lightning strike, though, is on the low cost side. So you're going to spend X energy resources and deal X damage to the villain and each minion engaged with you. And then you ignore tough status cards if you have aerial, which it's really easy for Thor to get aerial. So while this is only a 1 cost card, you're going to have to spend extra in the energy realm in order to do the damage, but that's a nice blanket effect card. So we have 1, 2 of those. Asgard, you get +1 hand size. That's pretty good. That will help mitigate your only having 4 cards as Thor. But you're going to have to dig it out of there. God of Thunder, which is a hero resource. Exhaust God of Thunder, generate some energy. And there's 1, 2 of those. All right, then we got the hammer. So for this, it's great because as Odin's son, you can go grab this, right? And it's going to give you +1 attack. So Thor is going to go from 2 attack to 3 attack, and then he gains the aerial trait. So this is a really powerful card. It only costs 1 to get out there, and it's going to keep coming back into his hand. So this will be a really nice card. It's going to make Thor uber powerful. Let's see here. Then Thor's helmet 5 hit points, right? So your base Thor with, what's he got there? He's got 14 hit points, so that's 19 hit points when you have your helmet on. Wow. That is impressive. For 2, it costs 2 to get that card out, and you get 5 hit points. All right, so that's your basic Thor card. So Thor comes with aggression. So let's go through what comes in Thor's aggression deck. So you've got Hercules, which he's got a cost of 6. Holy cow, that's a huge cost. But he's got 3 attack. So, and he has reduced cost for every minion that's out there. So that's probably nice in the Thor deck. Would be good against, like if you went to fight Ultron, Hercules coming out would be really nice. But in a lot of other decks, he's going to be kind of tough to get out there where there's not a whole lot of minions that you fight against. So would be an interesting card. We've got the Valkyrie, which has got 1 thwart and 2 attack. She's going to deal 2 damage to a minion and 3 if you use an energy resource when she comes in. So she looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that card. Chased him down, which we've seen before from other decks. There are 1, 2 of those in there. Get Over Here is a new card. So this is a 0 cost hero attack action. So you're going to deal 1 damage, and then if you have the aerial trait, which the hammer is going to give to you, you get to engage the enemy. So that'll be really nice in multiplayer. I mean, it's not going to do anything. I play a lot of solo player, not going to do anything for me there. But in multiplayer, you're going to be able to bring all those enemies over to Thor. You get 1, 2, 3 of those. So to make the most of his character ability. All right. I'm impressed with this card, Mean Swing, which costs 0. It's a hero interrupt. When your hero makes a basic attack, exhaust a weapon upgrade on your hero, and the hero gets +3 for this attack. So I really like this card. I don't know that I like it as much in the Thor deck, but I start thinking about Black Panther maybe, a Black Panther aggression deck, and there's 3 of those. That's a pretty cool card. Power of Aggression, we've seen that before. There's a couple of them in there, of course. Then we look at Hall of Heroes. So this is an Asgard location. Support card costs 2. Response after you defeat a minion, place a glory counter there. Then as your alter ego, you can exhaust the Hall of Heroes, remove 3 glory counters from it, and draw 3 cards. So it's another additional card to help offset the fact that Thor's got such a low hand size. All right, Battle Fury. Another upgrade. Play under any player's control. After hero attacks and defeats a minion, deal 1 damage to your hero and discard Battle Fury to ready your hero. So it's a 1-shot, bring your guy back up. And there are 2, 3 of those. All right, this is a card I like a lot. And let's see if I can say it right. Bjorn. So it's the axe that Thor had before he got the hammer. Before he was worthy to hold the hammer. This was the weapon that he ran around with in the comic books. So with this, after your hero attacks an enemy, spend a physical resource, deal 2 damage to an enemy. This is another one that looks like with some of the other cards that are in the set, this could be really powerful. There's once we get to the non-aggression cards, we'll see some that could help with this. So I like that card. This is another card that I think maybe in other decks and mixes, it will be pretty powerful. I think it may be kind of limited in the Thor deck, but outside of that deck, I think it's going to get a lot of use. All right, so that's our aggression deck and our base Thor deck. So now we're going to take a look at the other cards that come in there to round out Thor's deck. So we get, let me grab the whole stack and drop them there. We have Heimdall. And I love the art on this one. So Heimdall, 2 thwart, 3 attack. He costs 5. So again, he's on the expensive side, especially for the Thor deck. And he enters play, and you get to look at the top 3 cards of the encounter card and then discard one of them and put the others back in any order. So that looks like a really powerful card. Great. I think it fits the theme of Heimdall very well too. All right, Invulnerability is going to give your hero a tough status card. So that's I'm kind of iffy on that one. There's 1, 2, 3 of those in there, and they have a 3 cost, which just seems expensive for the Thor deck. I'm not sure that 3 for toughness is worth it. Thor, well, I guess the Thor deck doesn't have a lot of healing in the deck, so maybe that makes it more worth it. All right, so then we have our standard energy, our genius, and our strength, our Avengers Mansion, which we've seen before. And then we get into our obligation, which is Odin's anger. So you've got your standard. You're going to exhaust Odin's son and remove Odin's anger from the game. The other one is you're going to discard your hammer. And then you are stunned, which is a pretty... if you are not ready, that's going to be a tough thing to take. So Odin's anger as an obligation is a pretty rude obligation. All right, so let's take a look at our nemesis. So we've got first part of it is, let's just do that one card. We've got our family feud when revealed. 1 additional threat here for each Asgard card in play. And then it's going to accelerate the cards that come out. So that one doesn't seem too bad. It generates 3 boost, which is pretty rude. So then we'll take a look at who's coming out with them is Loki. So I'm very interested by this card. So when Loki would be defeated, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If that card is a treachery, heal all damage from Loki instead. That looks extremely rude. So Loki is kind of on not the tough side of the nemesis, but that healing. I think that's going to be a tough thing to fight off there. All right, so let's look at the other cards that are in there. We've got a couple of frost giants. So they've got they have 3 attacks, so they're pretty hard on the attack. What I like about them is the boost, so that if they come out as a boost card during combat, they're going to stun you. So that's a fun thing right there. So there's 2 frost giants. Then we have Trickster. When revealed, discard the top 3 cards of your deck. Place 1 threat on the main scheme for each different card type discarded this way. So that's a fun card to play with. All right, so those cards make up what you would start with your starting Thor deck, right? And then there's some additional cards that come with each one of these hero packs. So the first one we'll take a look at is Enhanced Physique. So this was the one that I was talking about that can get you additional physical counters. So maybe the other card that allows you, the Ornbjorn, that I'm not sure if I said that right, the axe that lets you do 2 additional damage. This might be a card if you were trying to work into a game using that, would be very helpful. So get some physical counters there. This might also be good in a Hulk deck, like if you were trying to make a good Hulk deck. All right, so we have 3 of those. And then as our protection, we've got Second Wind. So it's a heal 4 from an identity, 5 if you used a mental resource. So that's a lot of healing. And let's see, there's 3 of those. This card I like. So Teamwork. A hero interrupt. When you use your basic thwart or attack, you get to exhaust an ally and add theirs, which I think is very powerful. With the 0 cost in your leadership decks, that's going to be a really nice card. I think we'll see a lot of that go into a lot of decks. All right. The last card that's in here has another really interesting effect, and there's 3 of those, which is Under Surveillance. So you attach it to the main scheme, and then it increases the target threat value of it by 4. So I can see in my solo games where it would be really nice. There's some of these games where you just draw a couple of cards and boom, the villain can go from nothing to totally getting all the threat that they need for the scheme. And this would help mitigate that. So I like this card. I'll be interested to see whether I play with it or not. I actually haven't played a whole lot of Justice since way back to the beginning when I started playing. So now as expert solo mode, I think early on I was just playing like basic Rhino with Justice. Now that I'm playing expert mode against some things and some of the more advanced characters like Ultron and Claw. I would be interested to see how well this plays into it. And Rhino Expert actually can scheme out pretty fast, and maybe that will help in some of the Green Goblin mutagen that I have a really tough time getting through. Maybe if I make a Justice deck, this will help mitigate some of the single turn outs that I run into there. So I guess that's it for the Thor deck. Team Covenant again managed to deliver it pretty quick, and I got it right as they were releasing, so I'm really happy with that. Team Covenant subscription for the win. So if you're out there looking for how to get your Marvel Champion stuff as it comes out, I would suggest hopping on that bandwagon. It's really nice. So that's it for now. That's your Thor Marvel Champions Hero Pack. Tell me what you're thinking, whether you're going to play Thor as is or how you're going to augment him up. I, of course, will probably do some playthroughs of just the base Thor deck so you can see what he looks like. And I think pretty soon I need to start making some of my own decks and see how those go. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.